following reaching an agreement on the purchase price, part of the process that most people will go through, unless you're able to buy your truck in cash, and if you are, then my hat is off to you. Nice work. But part of that process will be dealing with the finance guy, typically, or finance guy or gal, who will not only deal with how your loan may or may not be structured if you go through the dealership. Again, there's another video in this series that touches on that. But they'll also talk to you about some of the extras that you can add to your truck or to your car. One of the ones that, looking at it on paper, it's like, how could this not be a good idea, is the oil change package. And not everybody has an oil change package. The place I purchased my first truck, which they did not have it. The second dealership, when I purchased this truck, is a Lithia dealership, and Lithia definitely does have it. And I'd go out on a limb here and say probably every Lithia dealership has it. I know that because my wife's Subaru came from a Lithia dealership much closer to our home than Spokane, where we got this one, as we live in Oregon, Western Oregon. But my wife's Subaru came from Lithia of Spokane, or Lithia of Oregon City, actually. And we sat down, and I knew a very good friend of mine is pretty much a master mechanic with Subarus. I'll just leave it at that. So we did not bite on the extended warranty because for him, like, it would be pointless for me to pay for that. I would, like, once we're out of warranty, I would way rather have somebody I've known my entire life working on my car, my wife's car, than some rando at the dealership. So we didn't bite on that. We did bite on the oil change package. And I was concerned because they wanted, I think it was like $800 for the oil change package, and it's a lifetime oil change, and I think they'll do 4 a year. Maybe it's 3 a year, but anyway, they try to set it up so that it makes sense in terms of how many oil changes you're likely to need in a year. My wife drives a ton of miles every day, and so we're always a bit outside of that. We end up paying for probably 1 a year, but that's it. So looking at that on paper, all right, well, I paid $800. I mean, and that's a negotiable price too. I negotiated it down to, I think, $600, just by sort of arguing I didn't want to add to the principal balance of my loan, and if they were willing to pay for the compound interest over the life of the loan that it would cost to add that to my principal, then I would be willing to bite on that. They did agree to do that. We got that oil change package somewhere in the neighborhood of $600. And with the assurance that it would be a Subaru brand oil filter and high quality oil. I ended up transferring jobs shortly after, transferring locations shortly after we purchased my wife's Subaru, and I was talking to the guy I worked with who had done the same thing at the same dealership, and he started complaining about how they were using these knockoff or really kind of low end oil filters, and that he had questions about what oil they were actually using. So I said, oh yeah, that's funny, because they agreed to use Subaru brand oil filters for ours. He told me I should probably check on that, so I did. Went home, popped my wife's hood, definitely not a Subaru brand oil filter. So I ended up contacting the dealership, obviously that being a point of contention now. Hey, you guys aren't delivering on your end of the deal here. And to make a very long and uninteresting story very short, I was basically told to get bent. So that's fine. And then my wife went in for, I think, the second oil change, and she was right at 5,000 miles. We did the first one pretty quickly. I get a bit paranoid about leaving the factory oil in for too long, because I think it's just nice to, as your engine breaks in, get that oil out of there in case there's any just little flecks of metal or anything else that is not great for your engine. So my wife went in for the second oil change, and the tech misread her odometer. Instead of 5,000, it's like 50,000. So he comes up to her and he says, hey ma'am, you have a crack in one of the hard lines for your air conditioner. It runs into the firewall of the Subaru, and you're going to lose your air conditioning. It's not, it works right now, but it's a slow leak, and it's something that we're going to need to replace. My wife said, okay, well, how much is it going to cost? And she's not thinking, well, I'm under warranty still for, another 31,000 miles. And the guy said it's going to be about $500 installed. My wife said, okay, well, I'll need to talk to my husband about it. And she's like, I thought we were under warranty. And the guy said, no, you've been out of warranty for a while. And my wife said, I bought this like 2 months ago. What do you mean? And the guy said, well, you have 50,000 miles on it. She said, no, I don't. I have 5,000 miles on it. He said, okay, well, I mean, that problem can probably wait. Like, no big deal. We'll talk to you about it next time you're in here. I had my friend who is a Subaru mechanic, or who is, I'll just leave it at that. I had my friend take a look at it, and he said, 100% absolutely not. That is absolutely false. There are no problems with the hard lines, and there shouldn't be after 5,000 miles. I'll let you make up your own mind about why that was presented to my wife the way it was, and why it was immediately reversed as soon as that tech realized that this car he was talking about was in fact under warranty. Spoiler alert, I believe it was a bit of a scam. And that leads me to why the oil change package is not a good idea for most people. If you are someone like me whose spouse is not going to change their oil unless it's set up like there's no excuse for them not to go, then the oil change package may be a good idea for you. I'm not super mad that we did it with her car. The problem is that she didn't want to go into these oil change places, like the quick lube places, because she didn't want to be upsold on something every single time she was in there. And I totally get that, because, hey man, I just want you to change my oil, and I do appreciate that you're looking out for what's wrong with my car, but we ultimately know that you make a commission, or at least there's some incentive for you to identify these problems and sell merchandise or sell services to people. So in an effort to circumvent that, or really get away from my wife having to have that interaction, which prevented her from changing her oil in the past because she got anxious about it, we did the package. The reason why it is not a good idea for most people is because it guarantees that your vehicle will be seen repeatedly by the dealership over the life of your ownership of that vehicle, which means that anytime something is a bit amiss, or anytime they maybe are short on their sales for the month, whatever the case is, you are a captive audience for them and a captive consumer. So they make their money through doing other repairs on your car, and it eliminates that you're going to go to some other place and have it checked out, because you're already going to be in there for an oil change anyway. I did not do it for the truck. I explained to them, hey, look, we got burned on it by your dealership network last time. And the guy said, oh yeah, well, they didn't pick the right one. I don't care if they didn't pick the right one. When you tell me that it's going to be one way and it's not, I'm looking at the paperwork, and it doesn't even occur to me that, and again, I made a mistake there. It didn't even occur to me that they could just update that if it's not specifically spelled out in the paperwork, they're going to give you a Subaru brand oil filter and what exactly the oil that you're looking for. You're not going to get that. Somebody once upon a time told me if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. Well, if it's not written down in the paperwork that you signed, it doesn't exist. I did not get it for this truck, and I also did not get an extended warranty for this truck. And I'm not going to tell you flat out don't get an extended warranty, but I will tell you why I didn't get one for this, and you obviously know already why I did not get one, or why we did not get one on my wife's Subaru. With this truck, in my last truck, with the last truck, I did get the extended warranty. I bought the paint treatment package called Glass Coat. I wish I had more hands so I could give that 4 thumbs down. And do your research on what the Glass Coat process is. I think it's just a bunch of crap. I didn't notice any kind of a benefit over the life of the 27,000 miles I drove that truck. They didn't offer that treatment with this because I was at a different dealership, but they did do the oil change package, and they did offer the extended warranty. I said no to both. No to the oil change package because I'm not going to sign on for something where they guarantee they're going to use a certain type of oil filter in Spokane, Washington, and then say the dealership I go to in Salem, Oregon doesn't really feel like honoring that minor detail. I'm not fighting that battle. I'm just over it. I didn't get an extended warranty because I realized that after totaling my 2016 Ram that had a substantial amount of mileage left on it before I would be out of warranty, the second that truck was totaled, that warranty was absolutely useless, which meant we inflated the principal value of our loan. And I'm not going to dispute that there are benefits of an extended warranty, but remember that they're selling you these things not because it makes a better deal for you, it's because it makes more money for them. And they'll tell you things like, yeah, I'm selling this to you at cost, blah, blah, blah. Trust no one, especially the finance person. They're not the person who's been working with you about getting the truck or car that you want. They're the person who's just trying to make some money on you for some add-ons that you may or may not really need. So we inflated the value of our loan with this extended warranty, or we inflated the principal value of our loan with this extended warranty. And when the insurance payout came, the first thing they do is pay off whatever the outstanding balance of your loan is, and they cut you a check for the difference, if there is one. Gap insurance is a different topic of conversation. I haven't used gap insurance. My wife and I have been fortunate to be able to put down payment down, enough of a down payment that gap insurance didn't make sense. So that really cut into our payout, which was frustrating. But the other part of it is, in a truck like this, and you may not be on the same page, or you may be nodding your head along with me as I say this, the Ram truck is, at least with the Cummins, comes with a 5-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty and 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty from the factory. This truck has a ton of computers in it. There's a ton of electronics in it. There's also a ton of these on the road. So if something breaks, I'm going to buy a used part, like out of warranty. I'm going to buy a used part for a few $100s and replace it myself and call it a day, and not be worrying about extended warranty deductibles and all of the process that goes along with something that, again, is not in your best interest necessarily to purchase in the first place. The final part of it is, as soon as I am out of warranty, I can tell you the first thing that I will be doing is fully deleting all emissions off of this and running an exhaust and an aftermarket tuner. I'm not going to do that before my warranty is up, because the CAN bus system that runs most of the stuff inside the truck is a big fat snitch and will tattle on you if you hook that up ahead of time, even if you revert it back to stock before taking it in. The second they plug into your truck, they're going to know that you've done something that you shouldn't have, and I would go out on a limb here and say that will void your warranty. So to recap, I didn't do this, and I would recommend you do not either in terms of buying an oil change package, because you become somewhat of a captive in terms of where you're going to get your oil changed every single time, and you're dealing with techs and a service department who don't care about you. I'm not calling them all liars by any means, but I think it opens the door for you being taken advantage of. And the extended warranty, that may be a good idea for you if you are not tech savvy at all. If you don't intend on modifying your truck at all, something to think about. But remember, it adds to the principal balance of your loan, and were the worst to happen and your truck gets totaled, and mine did on my birthday, then you find yourself having a lower payout and therefore less money to put toward the purchase of a replacement. That is my experience. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to answer those, and I appreciate you watching part 3 of this series. Take care.